when God was no longer considered that important, philosophers debated amongst themselves what a nation ought to be, what society ought to be, okay? And so let's discuss the major theories of this time period. All right, so the first idea is, if God doesn't really matter, okay? If it's up to humans to decide how to structure societies, how can you best do so? And at this time, the most popular idea is social contract theory. Social contract theory. And there are two major theorists, okay? The first is John Locke, who of course is English. And for him, government, it's very simple, okay? Human beings have three fundamental rights that God gave us, okay? Which are inalienable, which means that no one can take away from us. The first is life, okay? The second is liberty, the right to say whatever we want, the right to do whatever we want. And the third is the pursuit of property, wealth, okay? So they have private property. In other words, government exists in order to protect the wealth that we generate for our hard work. And if we steal it, that's okay as well, okay? And we kill a lot of people in India, China, and France to get it, that's okay too, because it happened elsewhere, okay? All right? So, private property. And as you can imagine, if you have wealth, you like the system a lot. And not only that, but you are encouraged, you're incentivized to work really hard. And that's what actually allowed England to overtake the French, the Dutch, and the Spanish, okay? Then you have another theorist named Jean-Jacques Rousseau. And his theory is different, okay? It's also social contract theory, but it's a different idea, which is, okay, we're born in a state of nature. We have complete freedom. We can do whatever we want. So why do we choose to give up this freedom and come into society, okay? The reason why is, when we do so, we create a social contract that creates the general will. Okay? And the general will is a substitute for God. It is the expression of the best of who we are. Okay, do you understand? So by ourselves, we're fine, okay? When we come together, we create a new concept that allows us to be truly and fully human, the general will. So what is the general will? Okay, all right, so think of Immanuel Kant, who was a German philosopher, and he explained that the very basis of humanity, what we should all try to achieve, is something called the categorical imperative. Okay? The categorical imperative is the highest moral law. Right? It's really God's law. And there are three components to the categorical imperative, okay? The first is the idea of universality. Universality just means that, imagine this, whatever you do, everyone else around you will automatically do, okay? So if you want to go drink alcohol, everyone's going to drink alcohol. Do you want to live in a society of alcoholics? Okay? If you cheat on a test, everyone immediately is going to cheat as well. Do you want to live in a society of cheaters? Okay? If you read books, everyone else is going to read books. So imagine that whatever you do will be replicated by everyone else immediately, okay? That's the idea of universality. Second is the idea of free will. Okay? I know that eating ice cream is bad. I know that eating protein, chicken, is good, okay? But I cannot be forced to eat chicken even though it's better for me. I have to choose to eat chicken by myself. If I want to eat ice cream, I can do that, okay? So we cannot coerce people to do what they do not want to do. All right? And number three is human is the end unto itself, okay? And the idea here is that you cannot use humans, a human being, to achieve a higher purpose, because humans are the ultimate purpose. So I can't be like a king and says, you know what, I'm going to start a war to make a lot of money for everyone, and I'll sacrifice 50% of my people But the other 50% who live will be happy. They'll live in paradise. You can't do that, okay? Because you cannot sacrifice anyone's life in order to achieve a higher end. Because the ultimate end is the human life, okay? So that's the idea of the categorical imperative. And this becomes the theoretical basis for the general will, okay? Now in practical terms, how do you implement this in society? Well, the general will gives rise to government. And then the government gives rise to laws. Okay? So the legitimacy of the government comes from the consensus of the people, which is the general will. The general will is not democracy, right? The general will is an abstract idea which represents the best of who we can be. All right? So just because everyone's like, okay, we should all vote to kill that person because we don't like him. No, that's not the general will. The general will is everyone is important. Do unto others as you would want others to do unto you. Okay? So you can't kill anyone, okay? And if people vote for this, then the government is illegitimate because it goes against the general will. All right? And this is important for us because this becomes the basis of the French Revolution. In the French Revolution, the entire European continent, okay, including Britain, Prussia, Austria, Russia, everyone got together and attacked France. France was poor. France had no monarchy. But France defeated everyone. Why? Because people were energized to fight for their nation. They believed that I am now part of a greater good. I have equity in this game. Therefore, I will defend this nation with my life. And France, for the longest time, was unbeatable on the battlefield. Okay? All right? So that is the French conception of a nation. A nation is a social contract which guarantees rights to its citizens. And in return, its citizens must be willing to sacrifice its life for the nation. And that's why the French Revolution was so successful, which ultimately led to the French Empire under Napoleon. Okay, does that make sense? Now, there's another conception of the nation state, which is this. Okay? And these are the Prussians, or the Germans, okay? And it's the idea of iron and blood. So a nation is not something that you choose to get into, okay? It's not something that you start in contact with. A nation is in your blood. A nation is language, heritage, land, okay? And you prove that you are worthy by sacrificing yourself in battle. Okay? This comes to us from the German Republic. In 1870, okay, in the Franco-Prussian War between Prussia and France, these two concepts of the nation state came into battle, okay? The French was a social contract. You fight for us because you agree to be a citizen of this nation, which guarantees you certain rights. Prussia is like, no, you fight because it is your duty to fight, because it is in your blood, it is in your language, it is in your whole culture, it is in your family. And then when these two cultures clash, it was the Prussians who won. And that created, of course, Germany, okay? So in 1870, the modern nation of Germany was founded by the Prussians when it defeated France in the Franco-Prussian War, all right? So now